Hello, everyone. So instead of trying to do this as like an extra long intro on one of the Rational Veil Volume 2 videos, we're just going to do this as a separate video because I don't think anyone wants to have to like scroll forward through like 8 minutes of me talking about my health issues. If you want to watch this video, you can watch this video. If you don't want to watch this video and you notice that I start looking really horrible over the next couple months, this is the video where that kind of gets explained a little bit. I'm probably not going to be looking so good as the next few months roll around. If things go the way I think they are going to go, and if they went the way they went last time I went through an entire pregnancy, I should start looking really not at all myself and really kind of crypt keeperish. Um, I know I won't look exactly like the crypt keeper, but I will look quite awful. This is just one of those wonderful joys of pregnancy. Yay. This doesn't happen for everybody, so if you are a woman who is watching this and thinking, oh my god, I don't ever want to get pregnant because I don't want to go through what this woman's about to describe, I promise you this is not the norm for pregnancy. This is just one of those funny little quirks that I have going on in my life. During my last successful pregnancy about 3 years ago, when my youngest was born, I developed pregnancy related RLS. I had not known that RLS was a real condition. Like, I first heard about RLS from a drug commercial on the TV, and I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, okay, so they made up a new condition so that they can sell pills to hypochondriacs, because this has got to be what it is. If you suspect you have RLS, call, ask your doctor about our new pill that we've invented that we're going to charge an arm and a leg for. I was like, that's some bull right there. That is not true. Oh no, it's true. I did not have a fun time during my last pregnancy at all. My last successful pregnancy. I didn't have too much fun during the other two pregnancies that failed either. Having a pregnancy that's miscarrying or about to miscarry, not a fun feeling, not good. But yeah, even with a healthy pregnancy, I still have issues. Tonight is the first night that I asked my husband to sleep in a different room. And that's not because we're fighting. It's not because we're angry at each other. It's not because we don't want each other's company. We both really enjoy sleeping in the same bed together. The problem is, last night I woke him up more than once. What was happening was I was mostly asleep and I kept tossing and turning in bed. I'd put the covers on, then throw the covers off, then put the covers back on again, and then I'd roll over onto one side, and then I'd roll over onto the other side, and then I'd lie back down on my back, and then I'd roll over onto one side again, and I'd kick my legs out, and I'd stretch them, and then I'd curl them back up again, and then I'd stretch them again, and eventually all of my moving woke him up, which caused him to get out of bed, and when he got out of bed, I woke up, and I didn't fall asleep again for another 5 hours. And I looked at it and it was like, tonight I just told him, like, I want at least one of us to get some sleep tonight. And we're both tired. We're both not feeling very well. And let's face it, I'm probably not going to sleep tonight either. I cannot quite remember how many days it's been since I've actually gotten a full, uninterrupted night's sleep. I haven't been counting. It just kind of came up really slowly. I had one bad night, and then I had another, and then I had one that was pretty much okay, and then I had a bad night, and then I had another night that was pretty much okay, and then I had a bad night, and then I had another bad night, and then I had another bad night, and it's been like that. And I can't remember how it started the first time. I think there were just a few nights where I wasn't sleeping and I didn't think much of it, and then I started having more and more. And then finally I went into the doctor and I was like, something is going on with me. This time at least I know what's happening. And so yeah, this is going to be an interesting experience. I am I am not going to have fun for the next couple months. I got pregnant and I saw the little plus sign on the pee stick and I was like, all right, when I get to the third trimester, things are going to start getting really unpleasant and I'm going to have to deal with that. And I mean, we knew that. We knew that was likely to happen even before I got pregnant. We knew what was probably going to happen to me, and now I'm here, and it's starting to happen. Oh joy! It's only going to be about 3 months, maybe a little more than 3 months before the pregnancy is over. And I remember last time they put the epidural in my spine, and I started falling asleep in the middle of labor because it was the first time that my legs had actually not been tingling and itching, and I started getting really drowsy and sleepy. And I kind of expect that that's going to happen this time. I really hope that's the worst of it. I hope that it ends as soon as the pregnancy does, because that would be really fantastic. I hear sometimes it lasts for a little longer after the pregnancy is over, and either way, it really doesn't matter. This is my last pregnancy. We are not ever doing this again. I mean, if we have a sudden accidental surprise, it's a baby. It's a human being. I can't wait to meet them. I'm going to be excited. I'm going to be thrilled. It's like, "Oh my gosh, it's a baby. Babies are awesome. I love babies." Voluntarily though, like planning wise, like intentionally, no. No, we are never ever doing this again. And it's really funny because my husband and I will be sitting around and just out of the blue one of us will be like, we're never doing this again. And then the other one of us will be like, yes, we are never ever doing this again. And we we are done. Like, we decided when we were first dating that we wanted to have 4 kids. This is number 4. That's it. That's it. We're done. This what's happening to me right now, what's going to happen to me. I don't want to have to deal with this. It's not going to be fun. It is it's not going to be fun. Like, labor hurts. I'm okay with labor. I don't mind labor. Labor is usually the point at which I know the pregnancy is almost over and I'm like, hell yeah. Is it gonna hurt? Oh yes, it's gonna hurt. Am I gonna be in a world of pain? Yes, I'm gonna be in all kinds of pain. I don't care. It's gonna be over. I just want it to be over. I remember being in the delivery room, and I have this very clear picture of the delivery room in my head because, like, I remember it. I remember it so vividly because it was a very important day in my life. And I remember lying in the bed where you give birth, and they kind of strapped me in, and I was all ready to go, and I'm sitting there talking with my husband, and I was crying because I was so tired, and it's like I just want it to be over. I'm so tired. I can't believe it's finally over. I had a friend who got pregnant just a little bit before me, and she had her due dates, like, I think it was about 2 weeks before mine, and she gave birth. And I remember she posted pictures of herself in the delivery room, in the gown and everything, big belly out to here. And I was so happy for her, and I was so jealous of her because I just wanted it to be over. And I mean, I wanted this to be over probably by week 9 of the pregnancy. Like, I do not enjoy pregnancy. Some women are like, oh, I talk to women all the time. It's like, I felt so wonderful being pregnant. It was so wonderful for me. And I mean, I'm happy for those women. I've met those women. I know those women, and I am genuinely happy for them. Me, on the other hand, no. No. Everything inside my head has been disorganized and scattered around and cluttered up, and nothing is where it should be, and nothing is acting the way it should be, and I don't feel right, and I'm cranky, and I just want it to be over. I think I would be so much more willing to have children if somebody else did this part for me and I just got to have the really fun, cool parts of like feeling the baby kick is really, really awesome. It's like a little tummy massage from the inside out. That's really cool. And I'm getting that right now, like not this second. He's listening to me talk actually. But like sometimes at night I'll be lying there and I'll just have my hands on my stomach and I'll feel the little bumps as he kicks me and it's like that's a good feeling. That's worth it. You know, that's pretty worth it. And then when you actually get to meet the baby, then it's really worth it. Everything else about it is just so unpleasant. And I hate it. I just hate it so much. And I can't complain too much because at the end of the day, I'm capable of getting pregnant and I'm capable of having a baby. And that's all I want. I just want the baby. I would go through, I would walk over burning coals if it meant I got to have a baby at the other end of it. What is probably about to happen to me over the next couple months is the sleep equivalent of walking over burning coals. This is not going to be a fun time. So, I will try to post videos every Thursday as scheduled. I will try not to slur my words. I will try not to act like I'm drunk. If I do act like I'm drunk, it's not because I'm actually drunk, it's because I'm severely sleep deprived and I need a nap, but I can't get a nap because I have RLS. I don't know how much sleep I ended up getting last time because I really didn't take the time to like record any of it. It was just one of those things like, wow, this is really miserable. I do sleep, and sometimes I get anywhere from even 4, and on some nights I think I got as many as 6 hours a night. The problem was it was completely interrupted. So I'd sleep for a couple minutes and I'd wake up, and I'd sleep for a couple minutes and I'd wake up, and then I'd drift off and then I'd wake up, and then I'd drift off and I'd wake up. And I would spend an entire 4 hour period lying in bed, drifting down into sleep and then waking up right away, and then drifting down, then waking up right away. So it's not like I get it's not like I get actual quality sleep at all. And after my youngest was born, I remember I couldn't sleep at the hospital because there were constantly nurses coming in to check on me, coming in to check on the baby. There was a lactation consultant. I just looked at her. I was like, look, this is my third kid. If I haven't figured it out by now, I'm never going to. They did testing on the baby. They did like, uterine massages to make sure everything was healing up properly. There was just so much activity in the hospital, and so we got out as fast as we could. And we got home, and my two older kids were at my in-laws because they were really, really nice, and they watched my kids while I'm in the hospital. And I turned to my husband. I was like, okay, if it's all cool with you, I'm gonna leave the baby with you. I'm gonna feed him so he's got a full stomach. He'll probably sleep. If he's not sleeping, if he's giving you too much trouble, definitely come get me. But I am going to go and I'm going to lie down on the bed and I'm going to sleep. And he knew what I'd been through. He'd seen what I'd gone through. It was pretty. I looked a lot like corpses that I've seen. It was awful. I looked awful. And he was like, "Yeah, sure. No, don't worry about it. I got the baby. You just sleep. Take as much time as you need." And so I lay down and I fell asleep. And 6 hours later, I just popped awake. And I sat up in bed and I was so awake. And I felt so good. And I could do anything. I felt amazing. And I wanted to go and I wanted to cook a meal. And I wanted to clean the living room. And I wanted to sweep the floors. And I wanted to do the dishes. And I wanted to do everything. And I had never felt so good. And I just didn't understand why I felt so good. And I felt like I'd slept for at least 12 hours. I really, really genuinely felt like I had slept for 12 hours. And I asked my husband how long I was asleep because it wasn't 12 hours. And he told me that it was about 6 hours. And I don't think I've ever felt like that before in my life. And it was just it was just because I had actually gotten real sleep as opposed to drifting off and waking up and drifting off and waking up. Life is an experience, and sometimes that experience is kind of horrible. And there are definitely plenty of times in my life where I've experienced things that were kind of horrible or just downright horrible. But the thing that's really cool is when you contrast the horrible things that you experience, or even the near horrible things that you experience, with all the good things that you experience, it makes the good things you experience so much brighter and so much more vibrant seeming. Like, sleep, when you have not been able to sleep for months, is this very trippy experience that I really kind of value, because I mean, I don't think there's a drug on this earth that mimics that. I don't think that, I mean, if they could bottle up what I felt that day after having 6 hours of sleep, if they could bottle that up and sell it, people would they'd spend their life savings buying that crap. It was amazing. And it was because I had been so severely sleep deprived for such a long period of time that a little bit of sleep went a really long way. I remember I have one picture of me during that time before my youngest was born, where I was still pregnant and I was still suffering from RLS symptoms. And I mean, again, they couldn't give me stronger drugs than they were giving me because they didn't want to hurt the baby, and I didn't want to hurt the baby, and so it was kind of like, all right, this is the best we can do. Good luck. I looked awful. Like, I looked so awful. Like, I looked sick. And I was just like, wow, that was me then, huh? And for a while, I remember being kind of worried because my skin was starting to get really kind of papery and sort of wrinkly. And I was like, I know that women start getting wrinkles in their 30s. I was like, is this how that happens? Like, is this what this is? And it goes away. It goes away. Thank God it goes away. But for the next couple months, I might start looking a little different. People have given me so much really, really sweet, really well-meaning advice on how to manage my symptoms, my RLS symptoms at least. There was one very, very dear sweet lady who told me that a glass of warm milk before bed would help. Like, have you tried a glass of warm milk before bed? And I thought it was so sweet of her. And no, a glass of warm milk definitely will not help. I had somebody else tell me that a cup of hot chamomile tea would really do the trick. They had me on anti-seizure medication, and that wasn't doing much at all. Unless anybody out there has a baby-friendly, pregnancy-friendly horse tranquilizer, I am not entirely sure that it's going to do a heck of a lot of good. Somebody recommended melatonin to me, and melatonin was actually a really good idea, and I would love to try melatonin, except melatonin is a hormone and I am pregnant, and it has not been tested by the FDA on pregnant women, so they have not approved it. And because it's a hormone, and because pregnancy is a hormonal kind of process, and there's another person inside this body with me, I'm kind of just, I'm not going to risk it. I'd rather be miserable, because I don't want to have to deal with any unintended consequences. Anyway, that is where I am. That is what I'm going through. And if I sound particularly drunk or look particularly horrible in any of my future videos for the next couple months, that would be the reason why. I am not actually drunk. I don't drink when I'm pregnant. I really don't drink ever, but, I don't drink when I'm pregnant. And I am going to be increasingly loopy as the sleep deprivation increasingly limits my ability to function. I already talked with my husband about him driving the kids to school once we get to that point, which we're not quite there yet, I'm still getting a few hours a night of uninterrupted sleep, so that's good. Once we get to the point that I'm too drowsy to drive, I'm going to actually have him drive. He's informed his work too. He's going to have to drive the kids to work because it's not going to be safe for me to be behind the wheel of a vehicle. And so that's going to be a fun kind of point at some. I really thought I'd have more time than this, but it looks like that point is coming sooner rather than later. This is going to be our first night sleeping in separate beds just because I want him to be able to sleep, because sleep is important and sleep is good for you, and it's really miserable not being able to sleep. And so, why should two of us be miserable when only one of us has to be miserable? So he's very comfortable in the other room. And I'm somewhat jealous of his ability to sleep tonight, but I'm grateful that we have the ability to make that kind of, I don't know, room alteration so that at least he can sleep. Like, it would be so horrible if he was stuck in here with me, with everything that's going to happen to me. Like, I wake myself up by writhing in bed because I am so miserable and uncomfortable. So that's my adventure right now. That's what I'm going through. That's what's happening. The end goal is an extra kid in the family, and I totally willingly got myself into this, knowing that this day would come. And I wouldn't change it for the world. This is what I want. Oh man, this is not going to be fun. Anyway, next week I will try to do the next Rational Male chapter if I'm not too far gone. And I'll talk to you guys later.